Hi, Joe. Great to be with you today looking at Protégé for barristers.
Thank you.
I thought it would be good for us to go through all the tasks that are available to barristers to use within their litigation workflows. So, shall we start with Ask?
Let's launch in, Laura. I can see that you have the Ask tab highlighted up here on your screen, and you have a prompt that you have generated. So maybe let me recount some of the feedback and user experiences that barristers themselves have told me when they're using the Ask feature on Protégé. We hear of the more convoluted or sophisticated legal questions that they're asking of the AI, and getting great responses with. I guess it's I also like to put the onus on barristers themselves that when they're using the Ask feature, that well, the onus is on you to craft an appropriate prompt, and you will get an appropriate output from that. So, be specific in your guidance. Imagine that you're briefing a reader that has joined the floor last week. So be specific in your
Right.
guidance.
So, what we
Laura.
can see here is the output with some blue links. Maybe that's what you're about to jump into there. And I can see we have case law, legislation, and then down the bottom, we also have some further reading material. I think what's nice is barristers don't have to subscribe to everything to get a really high quality answer. Can you tell us a little bit about what they will have access to when they take Protégé?
Yes, and I think this is exactly why barristers are choosing LexisNexis for their generative AI tech, because ultimately you are benefiting from those years and years, the repository of LexisNexis materials, that proprietary data that we have. So LexisNexis is in the best position to segue into this kind of technology. You have some secondary materials up on your page. It's also linking you out into any of the relevant authorities or the legislation. So the ability to toggle out into that, into your LexisNexis research as well, that's there for you. You've asked, in terms of subscription sensitivity, what's available if you do not have access to something in your LexisNexis subscription. I should point out that the output is the same, whether you have a very comprehensive subscription access or a more limited service. The output from your prompt will be the same. However, you might just have some slight variances in the blue links or what's an active link for you to verify. So, the more content that you have access to, you will just have a more seamless workflow when you're scrolling through to be able to verify the citations.
Great. So, if we move to the draft task, drafting a legal argument is one of the new additions that we have added to support litigators. Again, maybe you could give us a couple of top tips to making sure we get a great output when we're drafting.
Thanks, Laura. I'm really delighted that our product team have tweaked the drafting capability, because this is one of the nuances of the tech that is especially well received now by the bar. You have the ability to, again, bearing in mind, be specific with your prompts. So what you've actually searched for there, where we're getting a nice split screen environment here, it's providing you with the output. It's providing you with a skeleton draft, so it's overcoming that blank page. Okay, we have a draft first instance arguments here. So you can actually, as the researcher, scroll through this and edit and make your modifications to the page in real time. With workflow in mind, again, you can see the blue links here, and you are able to verify this material in real time. You can
And we can see the sample prompt has some good fact information there as well. I think what's nice is because it is all hosted in Australia, it's private sessions, you can feel comfortable putting quite a lot of confidential fact-based information into your prompts to speed that drafting. Being at the bar, case law, very important. We have the summarise function. I mean, barristers are going to read the full text of the case when they want to hand it up in court. We know how important that is. Why are barristers choosing to use the summarize function within Protégé?
Absolutely, Laura. Nobody is suggesting that you're going to skip ahead and not read your authority or your full case. But I guess if this technology is proving its worth in those maybe time sensitive moments or high pressure environments where you have a 30-minute adjournment, you have to get an authority in front of your eyes and get a summary of that. That's the kind of feedback that we're hearing from barristers where it's really proving its worth. Um, another scenario in which we're hearing this is being used where you're about to launch into, your drafting of submissions. This tool is a great way of collating, the authorities that you will be reviewing in further depth later on in the workflow. But this is a really quick way to launch into your workflow.
Great. And again, the blue links there to support that speedy checking. And then my favorite is the addition of the vaults that we have put in recent times. I will look for an example here, maybe start with the chronology. So vaults lends itself really well to litigation where you can load multiple documents. You can have up to 50 vaults and 200 documents in a vault, and asking for it to do litigation-based tasks like chronologies, fact interrogation, trying to find the needle in a haystack, and again, the argument drafting that we saw earlier, where you're providing even more context from fact-based information within those vaults.
So, Laura, I guess while this is loading here and generating a response, one might wonder, this is, privileged information. Who exactly can see this content? What are the security measures in place? Can you maybe give us an update on that?
Yeah. So all our data is hosted in Australia. It's commercial grade cloud infrastructure. Each session is private to you. So if you are accessing this through Chambers, no one else in Chambers has access to this information. No one at LexisNexis has access to this information. We don't train or tune based on your prompts. We use our internal staff and subject matter experts to do training and tuning. And this is really one of the reasons why you would use a professional legal AI tool rather than a general AI tool.
Um,
Here in the
see-
chronology, we could,
Yes,
yeah,
can
we
see
can
if
see
that's
those
generated
source
that.
documents
Excellent.
coming through. We hear a lot about making sure you are getting genuine return on investment for the purchasing of these tools, and making sure that you can quickly verify a generative AI tool is so important. Joe, the last thing for us to have a look at is a recent addition to the expanded capabilities of Protégé, which is looking at the general AI option within Lexis Protégé.
Yes, so our product developers have recently introduced the capability to search the open web through LexisNexis. So increasingly, our client base are telling us that in conjunction to searching in the LexisNexis ecosystem of content, well, there of course is merit to searching beyond that as well. So the product team introduced the general AI. I can see that you have input a prompt here. So momentarily, we're probably likely going to see, responses that's searching from government websites, council websites, all of those kinds of sources that are just not included within the Lexis AI.
And I think what's nice is having access to those different models. So I've chosen OpenAI O3. Hopefully it will be a little bit speedier. I could also use GPT-5 for longer thought process reasoning, and also Anthropic's Claude. So while it thinks and works on its formatting there, I think one of the nice things is we're still adding value by doing a sweep over that for authorities and providing LexisNexis case-based citations where there are references to relevant cases. And this again can speed that checking and provide that certainty that there aren't hallucinated cases.
Yes, and I guess another key difference between using one of these models and, say, going elsewhere on your browser and logging into a free service is this still has the guardrails in place. Your searches using this general AI on LexisNexis, there are still all of the guardrails in place in terms of data privacy and security. You know that your input or so your prompts are not bleeding out into the open web. So that is, I guess, again, something that's useful to point out.
And we can see here where the sources have come from. So once again, just trying to speed that verification so that you can get the efficiency of using a generative AI tool. I think that's everything for today, Jo. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Laura.